Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Hair Gardener, and today is the day that I get to plant up the flowers in my backyard garden here in Philadelphia, growing zone 7. So I got a lot of plants. I don't know if you can see them here behind me, but I have a lot, and I am not going to plant them all up today. I am just going to focus on a few that are in the sun just to get them a good start, and plus I want to spread this process out over a few days, just to make it last a little bit longer. So anyway, let's get started. Let me show you what I got this year. So the first planters that we're going to work on are these three up here that I keep up on the ledge of the wall. So all of the planters that I'm planting up today are planters that are in full sun a majority of the day. I'd say 6+ hours. And a lot of these plants are drought tolerant, and that's because I have a little trouble keeping them watered. It gets very hot here. So I made sure to choose plants that can withstand the heat and maybe the level of watering that I'm able to provide. So let's take a look at what I'm going to plant up here. I already sat, let's see if I can get this down. I already just sat these plants in here, just because I was excited. So this year I have two pots that are the same. The other one is up here. They're basically going to mirror each other. They're going to be the same plants. The only difference is the pentas. I kind of made, I don't know if it was a mistake. We won't call it a mistake. We'll just call it something else. I probably should have gotten all the same color of pentas, but I thought I liked both of these colors and I ended up getting two different colors. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is just mirror these with lavender on one side, lavender on the other side up here, and then the two pink ones are going to be in the middle. I think you'll see what I'm talking about once I get them planted. So as I just said, the plants on either side are pentas. So here is the tag. Hopefully that is in focus. This one is lavender, and it doesn't really, it just says full sun, and they get 18 to 22 inches tall. I think that's all I need to worry about right now. In the front here, I'm going to plant a mizu plant. And it does get these red flowers. They're very tiny. I've had these last year. Again, this is full sun. Height, it says 6 to 8 inches. I had this last year and I really liked it. It didn't really bloom that much, which kind of works out for me because I don't really want red flowers in with this grouping. But I really like the foliage. Looks a little sad right now, but it will definitely perk up once it is in the sun. So in the center of these pots, I am planting this grass. I just call it Ogon grass, probably because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but this is going to be the Thriller plant. This gets 8 to 12 inches tall, so that's going to add some height and also some movement. And also, I just love all the different colors that are in each blade of grass. So I treat these planters like any other planter, meaning I will have a Thriller, so that's the Ogon grass, provides height and a little movement. There's a helicopter going by in the background. The mizu plant will provide the spiller, and then the pentas are the filler plants. So they're just gonna bush out and kind of fill in any holes that are not taken up by these two plants. So that's a basic design strategy that most gardeners use to have a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. So I am also doing that in most of my containers as well. So let me go ahead and just pop these in both containers, and then we will move on to the center one here. So before I put these plants in here, I already have a little bit of ground in here ready to go. I didn't fill it all the way to the top because these root balls are going to take up some of the space. I'm also going to sprinkle in a little bit of Biotone. And that is just a plant fertilizer just to give them a good start. So I'm just going to mix that in a little bit. All right, and then I'm just going to put these, go ahead and put these right in the ground. This soil is very loose and fluffy, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my hand. I like using my hand most of the time anyway, so that's not a big deal for me. That's why they have soap. That's a little tight, but like I said, the grass is going to go up and this is going to go out over the edge, so I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. I'm going to go ahead and make my next hole and drop in the Penta. Let's just go ahead and make the next hole. Today is a very busy helicopter day. I hear another one going over. I'm not sure what's happening. But it's definitely a noisy day here in Philly. But I think that's every day. Okay. So this is the final look. Let me reach into this bag and get a couple handfuls of new soil that we're gonna just top this planter with, and then we'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the second planter, or plant it just like I did this one, and then I will meet you back here to work on the center planter. All right, we're ready now to plant up this center planter. You know, when it's up on the wall, I don't really notice, but the planter is very old and looks a little rough. So now that I'm actually looking at it, when it's down here, it probably does not look so great. So yeah, don't pay attention to how old this planter is. So anyway, what I'm going to put here is Dichondra Silver Falls. Let me do a little flip here. As you can see in the picture, if you're not familiar with this plant, it does cascade down, and in the past I have put Silver Falls in these planters and it really does travel down the wall, and I love the look of that. So I'm going to put one here in the center. I'm not going to do a thriller plant in this planter because I just don't think it's necessary to have it in all three planters. But I am going to have some lantana on either side, and I chose ones that have this like pink color in that's going to complement the pentas that are up here. So lantana are great. Again, we're looking at full sun. Does it tell me? It says the height is 20 to 30 inches. And honestly, depending on the year, these do get quite large. And they may even grow together a little bit. So I may end up with a big bushy center with the dichondra falling out over the edge, which is really what I want to see. So let me go ahead and pop these in here. And it is the same formula. I'm just adding some more biotone here. Should I be touching this with my hands? I don't know, probably not, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it this one time because I have the camera in my other hand. So, oh, the roots don't look too bad. I'm just gonna tease them a little bit, see how easily they kind of loosen up. And I'm gonna sit this in here. Loosening up those roots sometimes encourages it to grow a little bit faster. I'm gonna do the same here. Let's see what this lantana looks like. These are feeling, yeah, these are fine. I don't need to break apart the roots. Just make a little hole. Okay. And I will meet you back here in just a second. This one does not have a lot of roots. I bought the plants earlier than last year. It seems like every year I am able to buy the plants earlier and earlier because it is getting warmer and warmer out. So maybe not all of the plants have the best roots yet, but hopefully they will be fine. All right, I'm just gonna fill in with some soil and then we will move on to the next pot. All right, so all three of these planters are finished, and now we're just gonna walk over here. Let me just spin around so you can see how many plants I've gotten. They're all in these boxes right here, but we are going to move over now to these planters. I am going to plant in this one some petunias. So these guys right here, I think that's a nice shade. And in the center for the Thriller plant, I am going to do this Gaura. Again, these pots are all in full sun, so the Gaura is gonna really add some height, and then the plants all around are gonna fill in right around the edges here. I don't have any speller plants in this planter, but that is okay. There are a lot of pots around here that are gonna have some spiller plants. So what I'm gonna do, same thing. Let me just, sorry for shaking the camera around. Let me just add in some biotone. And you can probably see I already have two plants already in here. So these are geraniums that I started from seed. Not the best seed starting year for me. I did not get a lot of plants, but these two look pretty good, so I'm happy about that. Let me just drop the Gaura in the center here. Oops, it is stuck to the pot. There we go. It's a little big, but I think we'll be okay. And because these geraniums are small plants, I did only get these little plugs for the petunias. That way they grow about the same rate, so I don't have gigantic petunias in here. Because normally I get petunias that are this size, but as you can see, that would be way too big. and the poor geraniums would get swallowed up. So I made sure to choose plants about the same size as the geraniums. So we'll just drop those in there. Broke a flower off. Don't really need too much soil on top here. That actually might be fine. All right, before we move on to the next one, let's just take a look at how nice this lemon coral sedum is doing. So this came up last year, and I just broke it into pieces and surrounded this pot. And then in the middle here, I have a pineapple lily coming up, and look at how nice and dark that is. That looks so good against this yellow and chartreuse of the lemon coral sedum. So really excited for that. Up here in this pot, we are doing more lantana and then a white penta, and that is going to complement the planters that are up here on the wall. The thriller is a bronze orange canna lily, nice dark foliage. And then as the spiller, just wipe off this tag, we have a purple variegated, this is basically a purple heart, so a Tradescantia pallida. But look at the striping that is on this plant. This looks so good. I love the orange and the purple, and then again this bright green down here. I think this is gonna look good. So let me go ahead and pop these in the ground. We already talked about the pentas and the lantana. Again, all of these are sun loving plants. I'm gonna pop in the biotone, and we'll meet me back here to take a look at the finished result. I've got these all planted, and I think they look fantastic. I'm so excited to see how this turns out. And the final grouping of pots that I'm going to work on today are these right here in front of the window. So let me show you what I got. I have two Angelonias. I love this purple and white variegation, or I guess combo. And then in the center, so I have these bars on my window here, and I usually put something that is going to climb up the bars. So this year I have decided to put this black-eyed Susan vine. Again, I've mentioned several times, these are all like sun plants, so hopefully this will fill up my window. And then down below here, I have, let me move him up here. This is a variegated sweet potato vine. This is a new plant for me this year. That is going to be the spiller. I only got one. I'm going to put it here in the center. Down below, I'm going to use those other two petunias that we just planted over here. And then in the center, I'm going to put a diamond frost euphorbia. So it's going to take me a few minutes here to unravel this plant, because look at how viney this is. So let's see if I can get this off of here without completely destroying this plant. Alright, I got that plant off of there with minimal damage, only a couple buds. Looks like only two fell off, so that's not too bad. We'll take that. Now I'm just going to drop this here in the center and help work its way up the bars here. Alright, I got it out of the pot, and I'm just going to gently encourage it to come in this direction. So I think for right now we're just going to lay it back here, and I'm going to finish planting up these other ones. Wow, this is really, that's really long. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the rest of these plants in, and then we can do a final look and see how this turned out. All right, I have everything planted up. You probably noticed that the pots aren't as full as they could be, but I do find that in, you know, halfway through the season, some of my plants get choked out by one another, and I think that's just, I'm putting too many plants in one pot. So I did want to give them a lot of room to grow, and I wanted to make sure that all of them survived and not just a couple of them. So I think everything looks good for today. As you can see, I still have a lot more to plant. I do need to water these in, so that will happen. I think I'm going to do one final pot, which is this one right here on the corner. There is a ranunculus in here right now, and it is done for the season, but I did get these like succulent plants, which I think are going to look really good in this planter right here. So I have a portulaca, which gets tangerine flowers. None are blooming right now. I'm really excited for this. The name's not on here, but this is a type of sedum. I have an agave that I overwintered inside. And then this aloe plant. I have the ranunculus removed, and I'm gonna have to find a spot for that later. I am going to use this cactus palm mix. Maybe not 100% necessary, but I do have it, so why not use it? Sorry, I'm throwing the camera everywhere and spilling my soil. So I'm really excited for this little container. I don't know why, but I really love this. And this plant, look at the roots on this guy. Wow. This plant, I don't know if you can see in the middle there, but it is going to bloom. They had other ones, obviously, at the greenhouse where I bought it from. And those other ones were blooming, so I know what this is going to look like. So I'm excited for that bloom. Let's see, can I get this agave out? May need to put down the camera for a second. All right, the agave is out and in the pot. Hopefully I'm not putting too many plants in here. I feel like maybe this portulaca will be the only plant that would get too big, but I think it's just going to cascade out over the pot. So let's just go ahead and drop that in there. So I'm going to have this nice little like desert succulent planter here. Let's see what the roots look like on this guy. Not bad at all. All right, I'm gonna have to fill in now. I'm gonna put down the camera and just fill in around here, and then this planter will also be finished. All right, this is the final result, and I think this is gonna look really good in this nice sunny spot on the corner of my garden. Before we go, I will show you my alliums are in bloom. These guys are huge, so I've got 2 of those. And let me just walk around here. The bearded iris in bloom. Nice dark purple color. I love these plants. And I think I showed you before, maybe not, maybe that was at my mom's, but I do have a columbine that is also blooming. Alright guys, that's everything for today. Thank you for joining me. I have a lot more to plant up, so make sure to like and subscribe so that you can see how the rest of this garden turns out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.